What I wish I knew earlier. I guess it's just that money is not hard to manage. It's really not. After having that coaching call with you, all of those amazing things happened. The bucket list that I've had that I thought would be possible in the next few years happened in the next few months. That journey that I took with you was just extremely life changing, I would say. Not just in terms of my financial management or how I do my money well, but in terms of life in general.
Welcome to my YouTube channel, and today I'm bringing in another amazing client of mine, Angel, to share how she has built a sustainable financial system that allowed her to fund her recent business launch. That's super exciting. To live independently and resign from her full-time job. And she shares her financial journey from releasing all of her negative emotions around money to now managing her finances with more peace and excitement. So, also to spice things up for this interview, we're doing this truth and drink style. Hindi truth or drink. Gusto ko truth and drink. Where we're going to share truth bombs while we sip on our favorite drink. So let's get into it. Welcome, Angel, and tell me about your drink.
Hello. Hi, everyone. Hi, Coach Nick. This is my first time, so I'm a little shy, but hi, I'm Angel, and I was with Coach Nick last year, and I would say it's one of the best things that ever happened in my life, I would say. And I have my favorite drink with me. It's matcha. So, yes, hello.
Yeah, perfect. Ako naman, I am whipping out my wine from the New Year's that I did not get to finish kasi lola na ako. Tita, hindi nakaubos ng wine. So I'm bringing this out to celebrate your wins. Cheers to you and each other. Click and then drink. And sip. Ikaw sip, ako drink. So let's start off with, what do you think made it a struggle for you handling your finances before, and what has significantly changed since then, since we've had our coaching and after?
I can think of two things, to be honest. My major struggles in terms of my financial management. I guess the first one is consistency, coach, and then the second one is just procrastination. During our coaching calls before, I've always told you that there's this negative conversation that surrounds money all the time. So when I think about it, when I started working and I wanted to manage my money, I was like, it tires me just by thinking about it. So I've always procrastinated doing it. I never liked doing it because it was just a negative thing for me. And then consistency, because I always see a lot of videos and blogs. This is the easiest way to manage your business. Like all those crazy easy schemes. So I go from one Excel sheet to another, one money application to another, just for me to find out what's the best for me. And it has just really not worked out. But after our calls, I was able to really find the system that really works for me and that I enjoy doing, and it doesn't feel like a chore at all. So
Yeah, I remember when you came to me, you're like, I've done so many things, I've tried so many things. What's wrong? So looking back at it, what do you think really was the problem
mm,
that you really needed to solve that allowed you to be consistent?
I think it's just like my story that goes around money. Once you're able to really talk about or dive in my whys and my what's in my life in general and my money problems and why I'm having a hard time just managing it, even though there's money going in, it's hard to keep it in. It always goes out. Once you were able to answer those questions and just really me acknowledging it and accepting it, it just became so much easier and just so much better for me. So
Yeah. And what have you seen how it has impacted your life now that you have been consistent, now that you have this sustainable financial system?
well, in so many ways, but if we're talking about just I'll talk about the other part later, but let's talk about in terms of money, I am able to control how I spend now. Like before, I have told you I was a shopaholic before. When I'm stressed, I shop. When I'm happy, I shop. When I'm sad, I shop. Like it was my
Yeah.
go-to thing. Like I had no other hobbies. I shopped a lot. And so once, we got through that, I just was able to save, and also we attached my goals to my savings. I was able to see myself going from one goal to another, as you've said in the introduction, and in totality, it just made me extremely happier because one, of course, we've solved their problem with money, and two, I'm able to see my goals just crawling in closer and closer. So that just really makes me happy. So yeah.
Yeah. And I think that in itself shows that when you are able to simplify, being consistent with your finances, you also get to simplify funding the goals that are important to you rather than in the same way. Now, when we found it complicated, we overcomplicated how to handle our life decisions, our finances. And so I like also that you brought up na looking back, the real solution wasn't like, oh, there's like this best formula and this best Excel sheet and the best app. Like what you said is like, because we looked into what was my money story that wasn't serving me anymore and that was really blocking you. So let's talk about that. Like, what do you think were the biggest blockers that you had around your money story or around handling money that you wish you knew earlier? Because it would have helped you solve a lot of things much quicker.
Yeah. What I wish I knew earlier. I guess it's just that money is not hard to manage. It's really not. I mean, I'm saying that now because I know that now, but if I was able to go back to, myself a few months ago, because we just coached each other you coached me a few months ago, it was just such a hard thing for me. So if I was going to go back, I'm just gonna tell her, dude, it's easy to manage your money. You just need to clarify your goals and what path you're gonna take, what really is important for you and what's not working for you anymore. And once you're able to really just have that conversation with yourself, acknowledge it and understand it, and believe in what you're saying, not just saying it's really an easy process, and it can turn out fun actually. Because before it was just like, oh, but now it's just like, yay. So, yeah.
Yeah. Like who would have thought, right? Now, that's what I'm like, yeah, finances could actually be fun. It could be simple if it's attached to the goals that are important to you. I really remember this one of our calls, if I could share, when you were like trying to like do a lot of tumbling. So like, coach, I stayed up until 2 a.m. trying to do something.
Remember that? Oh my god.
And then like during our call, like within an hour, we like simplified everything and you're like, coach,
No.
dapat di ko na pinilit eh. Kasi kino-complicate ko eh. Naghintay na lang dapat ako sa call para tapos na agad.
Oh my gosh, I remember that because
Ah,
just to share as well, that Excel sheet, I still have it. I stored it, I saved it, just a reminder for myself. It had like a bunch of like formulas and like, okay, so this will be attached here and this will be attached here. And then after we had that session, I didn't know that we were gonna have that session that same day. After we had it, I was just like stunned. I was like, okay, I lost like probably a few hours of sleep because of this, and I don't know why I did that, but I'm here now, and I guess it's okay.
yeah. And that's why I'm like so passionate about how our finances shouldn't take a lot of time. If it's taking up time, it's getting time from our rest,
Yeah.
from creating more experiences with people we care about, from our hobbies when it could literally take just a few minutes. So for you, how long has it been taking you to handle your finances in a month?
It's very perfect time because I just did my finances yesterday because I got
Okay.
yesterday. And so I just did it yesterday. It was just so fast because everything was just created for me and my needs and my wants and my goals. It's all separated. It's all arranged in a way that's for me. And it's fixed already. Like I don't have to change anything. I just have to look at it and transfer the things that I need to transfer. And I would say it would just take me around 5 to 10 minutes depending on what I need to actually, pay for the month. But it's just very a fast process. And I've told you before, coach, that when we added those ticks on the
Yeah.
Excel sheet, it made it so much better because I'm like, okay, done, paid, done, saved. And so
Yeah.
it's very fun for me to be honest. Like I look forward to it now every month.
I want you to hear yourself. Like, imagine the past ages. Like, wow, I look forward to doing it now. Versus before, you're like, coach, I'm so frustrated. I can't do this.
That's true. That was me. But it's okay. We
Yeah. True. Like that's why I'm so proud of you for really trusting in the process. That I remember kasi when like that session, you're like, Coach, pero kailangan ganito eh, kailangan ganito eh. And I was challenging you like, how can it be simple? How can it make things faster for you, diba? And so I'm proud of you for now seeing na 5 to 10 minutes and then you could just like enjoy lunch, enjoy your life. So speaking of, so let's talk about what you said earlier that it's been so important that your financial system is attached to the goals that are really important to you. So let's talk about those goals that are becoming a reality or became reality already as a result of rewriting your money story and having the system.
So one, of course, as you can see, I live alone independently. But that was one of our goals, I believe, during like the
Yeah.
first few weeks of our calls. I was just talking about that nonstop.
Yeah.
And I think like I can't remember the week, but I was like, Coach, I'm doing it. But anyway, so I guess what was blocking me from achieving that one goal that I had was that if you remember correctly, Coach, I would often when you talk about something or when I achieve something, I would often focus on the negatives. Like I would say, oh, but if I move out, what if I don't manage my money well? What if I get so lonely and depressed? What if I don't achieve my goals and I just fail and just, it's just a sad, sad thing to tell myself. And so when you gave me that feedback and you told me, okay, just calm down and talk about it positively. What are the good things that will happen if you do that, if you move out? And so when we shifted that and we talked about it, and then I was like, oh, but if I move out, I'll have more space for me. I'll be able to control the things around me better. I'll have more space for my creativity to walk around, dance around, do whatever I can, and have more freedom. And then once we had that conversation, I just felt pumped. I was like, that same week, I was like, Coach, by the way, I'm moving out. I told my parents already. They said yes. I bought the things that I need to buy, and I'm moving out next month. And so that was one of the goals that I've achieved during our calls because I realized that I was just too harsh on myself. And I knew to myself anyway that I financially can move out. It's just that I'm hindering myself from doing it because I was too negative and I didn't know if I could manage my money well. And then I guess the second thing is just, launching like the business that I have now. It's something that I'm very passionate about. When I talk about it with you, or actually when I talk about it like with other people, I just like, ah, this is what I'm trying to do. This is the business that I'm trying to build. It's very me. I'm very passionate about it. And knowing that I was able to like fund that and actually launch it last month and experiencing, yeah, experiencing experiencing the happiness of it finally being there, even though it's very scary, even though there's a lot of challenges that came and has gone. It's still a happy process because I knew that I was the one who made that possible, like through everything that happened and the negativity that always stalks in my mind. But now it's just all positive, and I just know that I have the money for it, and that the money for it going forward, just funding my dream business. So
So proud, so proud, so proud. Because I think that what you shared earlier is an example of like how we perceive money really becomes a reflection of our life decisions. Because as you said, like, oh, because you were thinking negatively around money, you were also thinking negatively like what would happen if I do this, if I move out, if I do this business and all of that. And so when we really dug deeper into like why your thoughts are negative around that, explore that more. Like if anything, like I wasn't scared to like go inside that tunnel with you, to really look into that and be like, is it really something worth blocking you, or is there something much better at the end of that tunnel that's worth going towards, and that's why it's like, oh, so proud that you're like able to do all the things. If anything, you did not ignore the negative, because I think the misconception is like, oh, I need to like think positive and like don't be negative, but sometimes we need to explore why we're negative so that we could see how we could shift that into something that's more beneficial, and how it could make us realize na, hey, wait lang, I could do that next week. I think that's what literally happened to you. And that's the power of like when there's just something that shifts in your mindset, like that literally pushes you to take the actions that you've delayed for so. I remember you're like, I'm delayed this for so long, and then I just did it. Like what? You just sent me like, I think yung kama ba yun? Or like yung ginagawa mo yung kama.
Yeah, I think I sent you that. They were fixing it here, and I was like, Coach, I have my bed here already and fixed. And I was just so happy. And like the thing that you said, na parang, when I shifted like my thoughts into the more positive ones, it wasn't just about me funding my dreams. It wasn't just about like my financial management. It was my life in totality. Like when you brought that up and I acknowledged it, I was like, why am I too harsh on myself anyway? Like it wasn't about like money discussions anymore. It was just me. Like I realized that I was too harsh on myself and that I shouldn't be like that to myself because I wouldn't do that to another person, and that doesn't speak to the business or the brand that I was trying to build. And so I just shifted that and turned positive, and the universe listened to me, and I was like, okay, so we're back on track. So yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And I think that's a skill that you've taken with you. Even
Yeah.
after the coaching, you're like, Coach, I realize that whenever I go through challenges or I go through problems, like you tackle it differently. I remember one of the things I told you, it's like, it's not worth it that you're going to allow these things to like dim your light. And so it's just so happy to see like in your business that really shows. So tell us about that.
Oh, really? Okay. Okay, so I'll talk about it. But yeah, so the business that has just launched, actually, we just hit 1 month a few days ago, and I'm just so happy for it. But the business that we've launched a month ago, it has just gone through so much challenges, and I'm just so proud that it is what it is now. But basically, the brand is about like self love, and so when we had that coaching call, it just matches with the brand that I was trying to build, because I did notice a lot of negativity around me, and that I was, attracting those negative things because I was too harsh on myself. And then during our sessions, I then realized that the brand that I was trying to build is called Sunrise Sunset, by the way, revolves around self love, you accepting yourself, you just being, unapologetically loving yourself and just prioritizing yourself. And I felt like I wasn't doing that. Like I wasn't being true to the brand or the voice that I was trying to give to the world. And as you've mentioned, like when you first met me, I was like this blooming light that I was like, oh, hello, hi. But I wasn't being like that for myself. And I thought, if I'm gonna continue, this negativity, this harsh conversation that I have with myself, I'm not gonna be honest with the business that I have just launched. And so when we talked about that, and then when I launched my business last month, it just felt so real. And I just had like, that moment that you're a part of it actually, because of you I was able to remove those things that I know is not reflective of what I was trying to build. And so when I launched it, it felt more true. It felt like I released it at the best time, because if I released it before we met, it probably will not be what it is. I'm just so happy that I relieved all those negativity and just focus on the positive stuff, so that I'll be more honest with my brand, or the brand that we've just launched, which talks about self love. So,
Yeah, yeah. And truly, who you are now is a reflection of what you've put out. I mean, literally, I said like you're such a bright light, like you light up the room, and literally, like your brand says like sunrise in the brand name. Truly, like even for me, when I was having some negative, views around money, it was also because there was something going on in my life, and truly that's why it's so important to like not think of money as a separate bucket, but like how can it be a part of our life that allows us to like do more of what we want, which is the things that you have gone through. And when I hear my clients like doing all these kinds of things, I'm like, my clients are so badass, like they're so brave, like they're so amazing. And imagine, guys, si Angel, she was able to move out, live independently, fund her dream business, do a launch, and then she was able to quit one of her jobs from having multiple jobs. Like, I can do this to coach, pero I need to quit one of my jobs. Ganyan. She did all of that in like what? In a span of how many months? How many months lang yon?
I know, I probably like within 3 or 4 months, it all happened just because I shifted my mindset. And
Mm.
I didn't know, probably like 6 months ago, Angel, like before we met. I was actually like last week, most probably. I was looking at, those archive stories that you have
Yeah.
Instagram, and sometimes I would just have that on a Sunday just to see what I was doing Sunday that same day, and I was like, oh my gosh, she's doing this, and now I'm doing this, and I'm just so proud of myself. I don't feel bad that that happened to me, that I've gone through that. Of course, it's part of my story, but I'm
Yeah.
just so proud that in a span of a few months after having that coaching call with you, all of those amazing things happened. The bucket list that I've had that I thought would be possible in the next few years happened in the next few months. So it's crazy and it's overwhelming, but it's a happy type of overwhelming.
It's crazy how powerful our mind can be. So, if you were to look back, what were the top three lessons that you learned from our coaching that really allowed you to make all these goals happen?
Top one, I
Okay,
probably
go.
top
Ikaw.
one first. Um, During our sessions, we really dove into like my character, my personality, my story. Like we really dove into that, and we asked a lot of questions during those initial sessions. And I think one of like the best question that you've asked me was, why are you trying to control things that are out of your control? It was like I was at first I was a bit hesitant. I was like, no, I'm not. What are you saying, coach? Like, you're wrong. I was very hesitant there and I felt like, no, I'm not fixing things that aren't mine to fix anyway. And then when we talked about it, and then I realized that yeah, I did have that personality of me when I see something that I can help with, or when I see something that I know I can fix, I will just jump in and help whoever that person is. I mean, it's not wrong to help other people, but it's if it's something that's becoming toxic and you just know that it's out of your control, you just have to let it go. And I had that. It was very hard for me to do that before, but when you made me realize, and I also realized myself that, oh yeah, this is a bit toxic to do that, and then I learned not to do that anymore. It just gave me more space for myself and prioritize the things that I can control, the things that are mine to fix, not, for me to fix other people. So that was very helpful, I would say. I still do it today. Like when there's something that I know I can't control at all, I'm like, okay, that's not my problem. I have my own problems. It's okay to help, but if it's becoming very negative already, I will prioritize myself and step out. And then I guess another major lesson that I have learned is just learning to say no. I told you before, coach, I believe, if you remember, I have a hard time saying no, especially to like gala, like with my peers or like to anyone at all. I was like, I realized that I thought it was a good thing to be there for the people that you love, that you care about, but then slowly it takes away, a little bit of you, and you're not able to, focus the things that you need to do. And also, there's this FOMO around it that if I don't go and I see their stories the next day, I'd be like, oh, I wasn't there. But then when I realized that it's okay to say no, we're growing up, we're all in this stage where you need to like learn to say no and prioritize yourself and what's important for you. And these days, when I moved out, together with me moving out, I learned to say no to some plans, and I really didn't feel bad about it because I knew that there are other things that I needed to prioritize. I knew that I have my goals that I need to achieve, things that I need to learn, and just things in general that are better, that serves my time. And with me saying no to those things, and it just really helped. I mean, of course I still go out with the people that I love. I still say yes to them, but I'm not like very easily, I don't like, okay, yeah, let's go, even though I know I have some things I need to do. And the third one, I guess, I've told you that I will not mention the name of the person, you know but I had like a very challenging relationship with this one person in my life, and we've had, I think, one session dedicated for it. And that person is like related to the money problems that I have. And so I told you before that I have a very challenging relationship with that person. I don't like being in the same room with that person. It re-traumatizes me with everything. And when we had that conversation of just letting go, just feel what you need to feel, it's valid, but let go of those negative emotions. It's no longer serving you. I remember we had that session, and we cried a lot during our sessions. And I remember crying in one of those sessions, and then just after that, I just felt very at ease. Like I didn't realize it the first few weeks, but then like after a month probably, I realized that together with everything that I've learned with you, removing things that are not controlling things that are out of my control, removing all those negative emotions, I have a better relationship with that person in general. Like when I'm away from that person, I'm like, oh, I will never miss you. But like whenever I'm away from that person, I'm like, oh, I wanna see that person. I wanna be with that person. It just felt good because I no longer have that baggage with me.
That's really important to bring up because we don't realize that our fears or our negative feelings around money is way, way, way deeper, which is like, as you said, it's rooted around this relationship with this person. Because when you were able to learn to accept, to acknowledge, to let go of that, it was also easy for you to let go of the negative emotions you had around money because they were very much interconnected. And these are the things that why I love coaching itself. It's like holding that safe space for you to be like, okay, like, am I just in denial? Yung mga ganyan, like,
Yeah.
like when, as you said, it's like a lot of asking questions and a lot of listening because I want to listen and understand what are the patterns that you still keep believing but are not serving you anymore, And that's why when I was able to like, parang may na-notice ako doon na parang that's not that's not serving you or that's holding you back. And I just like to bring them up and see like, okay, how is that something that you want to look into, or how is that something that you want to work on or look at differently? And only when we really have that space to acknowledge that this is what I feel, this is what I'm going through, that's only when we can find real solutions. Because we think that we're like, ignore. Yeah, I will ignore this
No.
person. I will ignore this feeling, right? But the real solutions are found in like digging deep into that. We need to turn our fears into road signs because it leads us to the life that we want, what we truly want. Because I remember you like, oo nga, that's why sobrang importante sa akin to move out, to live independently when we got, deeper into things. And so I get a lot of clients who come to me be like, I need to have multiple jobs. I need to be overworked. I need to like not sleep. I need to like, you know that.
I'm giving you.
So that's the misconception is like I need to constantly overwork myself, have multiple jobs in order to save faster, to fund my goals and all of that. So having gone through the process, what do you think truly allowed you to let go of that job and double down on one so that you could also fund your business?
So we started our journey together with me having two jobs. One one in the afternoon until the morning. So it was a very like I was tired. I was just tired. But initially before I spoke with Coach Nick, it was just like me. I also had the same thought, of course, that okay, if I have two jobs, there's like two source of income, and then if I add another side, hustle, there's another source of income. But of course, you see your money growing, but at the same time, you're gonna you're gonna ask yourself what really is important for you right now. Is the money, like your time spending on these jobs, like worth it? Like are you happy? Like I had that question in my mind, like Brian, I'm spending so much time with my job, with my two jobs, that I'm not able to spend time on the things that I love, or the things that really makes me, like it's eating me up piece by piece. Like I see my savings growing, but I see myself slowly, like disappearing in the shadows because I was no longer happy. And so when I really acknowledged the fact that okay, I need to let go of one of my jobs, I just really need to, because it's gonna serve me better as a person, and it's just gonna make me so much happier. It just feels more more true to myself. And so when I realized that, and I was honest with myself that of course I had to go through, okay, but if you lose one job, you're gonna lose this much. Of course I had that conversation with myself, but then again I weighed it, and I'm like, but yes, but if you focus on this job and you become so good at it, you'll be able to like double your income, right? And that happened to me. So when I resigned from my other job and I focused from this job who is amazing, by the way. Shout out. I
Yeah.
focused on this job. I was able to double my income. I became happier. I had more time for the things that I love. I had more times for the people that I loved, and it just made me extremely happier and better. And it made me realize that there is another way. It's not just me getting tired every day. There is a better way of like handling situations like that.
Yes, yes, yes. Like that's so I'm just like people need to like really hear this like 1,000 times, because Angel is an example of that. Na literally what you said is like if you focus on doubling down on the skills, like you could increase your value, increase your income, which would then allow you to have less hours being tired and focus the rest of your time doing more of what you love, doing more of what really matters to you. That's why it's been so important that when we started off was for you to get crystal clear on what really is it that makes you happy. What is it really that is true to you? Because from there you were able to then weed out what's not aligned. What's been amazing to see in you is when you just told me like I just feel like I'm happier. I'm more at peace. I'm brighter, because isn't that what we really want out of life is for us to feel like we're happy and we have peace in what we do and waking up every day that we're true to who we are.
Yeah.
And seeing you that way is just like, ooh,
Like right now, I'm just really happier, I would say. I'm glowing. I mean, I know that's self-serving, but I know I'm glowing.
take it, girl, take it.
That journey that I took with you was just extremely life changing, I would say. I'm not just saying this because there's a camera in front of me and this is being recorded, but it was truly life changing. Like, not just in terms of my financial like management or like how I do my money well, but in terms of like life in general. Because as we have mentioned a lot through this video, our goals or like the personal problems that we have, they're all aligned to each other. And once we were able to figure that out, we were able to answer a lot of questions and figure things out like together. I was able to realize that I can do it, and I did. And
And you
especially through
did.
us. And I'm still doing it, and I'm still living it, and I'm just so happy that I met Coach Nick. So yeah.
And that's something that you can always now go back to and be like, if I want something, I can do
Yeah.
it. Plug your business. Tell everyone to like check it out.
Hi guys, I'm kidding. How do I do? Hi, I'm Angel, by the way, and I've just started the business called Sunrise Sunset. You can find us on Instagram and Facebook, so follow us there. Our business talks about self love. So if you're on that same journey or you want to start that journey with us, we also have a community that surrounds it. And yeah, go and follow us and message if you want to. I'll be very happy to meet you. And yes, that's
Yeah. Guys,
all.
you are going to be happy to meet Angel. Come on, look at this like ball of sunshine. Diba? Thanks so much, Angel, for being here, for being brave, sharing your story. And I know you're going to keep crushing your goals, and I'm excited to see you crush them and thrive even more.
Thank you. Thank you, Coach. I appreciate you.